Ride. Oh, ride. What the fuck is that? Unbelievable. David knocking at the door. Hello. Well, things are going well. Just went on a mountain bike ride with my 16-year-old and we killed it. So thanks for asking. James Bruce is in the house from across the pond. What time is it over there in England? Probably what, 11 midnight maybe? Oh, it's good to see everybody. It's a Memorial Day weekend, so I don't know what my weekend looks like. I might be hanging out in Park City, or maybe go to Moab. If you guys know where Moab is, it's down, about 3 hours from here. And it's amazing. In fact, a lot of your countrymen go out there, James, to ride mountain bikes and motorcycle and all that jazz. We got Batman in the house. I was listening to that MGTOW dictionary. They've been slaughtering these PUA dating coaches and anybody that says they're MGTOW. So you're probably smart not to play in that pond anymore, Batman. Right? Good to have you guys. Hope you guys are doing some fun things on Memorial Day weekend. Matt Downer is in the house. Good to see you. Brotherhood is very well and hanging out. About midnight, buddy, what normally happens on Memorial weekend. It's just you get Monday off and everybody has barbecues, and it's kind of the beginning of the summer. So it's good. Well, listen, here's the stream today. Why the $1 billion couples therapy has been failing. Here's my take. When you go into therapy, whether you're married, pre-marriage, post-marriage, there's a man and a woman in this therapy session, and there's a therapist. That therapist is being paid to counsel you. Now, there's probably some therapists that are worth their weight. However, you have to have two players that want to play the game and get better. I went through therapy, and the reason it didn't work is because her mind was already made up that I was the problem. So there was nothing the therapist, and she was a lady, female therapist. There was nothing the therapist could do to help that. She was determined that I was 99.9% of the problem, my ex, and the therapist just, you couldn't even play, you couldn't even referee that game. And that's what they are. A therapist is a referee, and there's a winner and there's a loser. So the winner comes out, typically it's the woman, right? And the man kowtows and says he'll change and go to anger management and all this jazz, read books and so forth. And then she's watching him every time he's moving around. If he does something wrong, the therapist told you shouldn't do that. You need to get back and keep reading your book. You need to get back on those depressing meds or whatever, the medication to make you calm. You need to take your anti-anxiety medication. It always goes back to you. But the reality is you become resentful if you're the man. So there's this subconscious, underconscious theme that you've already lost, you resent it, she takes no accountability for her actions, and every time you go back to the therapy, it's again, she's fighting you in the same way. You're the problem, right? You're always the problem. RP Phoenix, rad brother, so glad to catch a live stream. Yes, I'm kind of inconsistent when I put them up. I just want to come out and say what's on my mind, or I'll forget it. But Couples, let's see, James. Couples counselors or therapists tend to be either female or liberal-minded males. Seen it myself. Had close friends tell the same story. Yes. It's a billion-dollar industry, and a lot of these women go in and, they want to show that they put forth an effort to save something, but they've already decided in the beginning that was over. So they're just going through the motions so they don't look like, so horrible of a person. No, we tried to work it out. It just wasn't working outable. And that counselor knows what's going on. She knows he, the beta male counselor, and you're absolutely right. They're all beta males. Anybody in that, right? Maintain frame, lay it down in Chinatown. You got it, brother. Meds could mentally kill us, if not physically. I would agree with that. And then they put the man on meds because he's the controlling, angry one. So you've got to go back. You got to deal with that stuff. And meanwhile, one's coming out a loser, the man. The woman's the winner. She's on the pedestal. So you're walking on eggshells every single time. And if you don't do what she wants, she gets you back. You go back to the therapist. She tells the therapist all you did wrong. And then the resentment just grows and it grows and grows and grows. And the man's trying to save it, but realize it's a dead end because he's got to jump through all these hoops. The therapist is the referee calling all the shots and fouls for her. And it just never works. That is why the hope in relationship therapy fails. It fails. There's so many books written about how to work with your guy, with your woman, and what's your love language, all that bullshit. It doesn't work. You know why? The resentment and the contempt is already in the marriage. It's never going away. Divorced trucker. My coworker bought a new Harley Davidson, hoping to find a girlfriend, but is still single. He needs to get his soap. He needs to get the soap, the pheromone soap, and then he'll find a girlfriend. Saifu in the house. Greetings to you, brother. Timmy Kramer, the only therapy I do is golf therapy. Play today. Attaboy. Attaboy. That's all the therapy you need. Self-therapy. When I was in therapy, the female guide was actually fair. The ex-wife would not accept her advice. Similar to mine. I remember the female lady, she was actually, her therapist actually started counseling both of us. So she had chosen a therapist, and her therapist told her that she needed to do certain things, like forgive her husband. And look, he's here next to you wanting to fix this, wanting to move forward. You need to forgive him. She said, I can't forgive him. And that's, well, I knew it was over by then. Lou Hellickson, therapy is all about both parties wanting to be right. Man bad is most often the verdict. Well said. Well said. The man, 90% comes out the loser. What woman that goes to therapy wants to come out the loser? She doesn't, right? There's a winner and there's a loser and there's a referee, and that is it. If anybody ever wants you to go to therapy, just 86 it immediately. It's a waste of money. We spent so much money, and it was stupid. But I was in that mentality of wanting to fix everything. You're absolutely right, Lou. Role is in the house all the way from Ecuador. Good to have you. Daniel Gonzalez, did you do any surfing in your teens, early 20s? I did. I grew up on the West Coast, and we would go surfing. Cold, shark-infested waters. Had to put on the wet or dry suit, but it was fun. Started on a 9-footer and got down to a 5.5. I also surfed on my honeymoon in Hawaii. Philip Tesaro, big money grab that never works. Ain't that the truth, Philip? Divorced trucker, soap is what he needs to get the ladies. Soap. You can buy the pheromone soap. I swear it'll work. It'll work for him. It'll work for all of us, guys. A man should never go to a female therapist a woman cannot understand a man's issue. Exactly. It doesn't work. I mean, just that statement, Saifu, right there. Man brain logical, woman brain emotional. It's like, does not compute. You're absolutely right about that. And there's a referee. Somebody leaves the loser. Somebody leaves the winner. Somebody leaves with control. Did you handle those sharks with such bravery? I never saw one, but they were out there. What's a 17-year-old kid, dumb as rocks, doing out in the middle of the ocean trying to be cool? Actually, I could surf pretty well. But, it was along about an hour and a half, hour and 10-minute drive out there. And it was always raining on the beach. But we had fun. And that's reality. The man typically loses. And you know what? I think if you guys want to make some money, write a book on marriage therapy or couples therapy. I guarantee it'll be a bestseller. Just spin it differently. Soap will help your marriage be better. Or going to Italian food on a Tuesday night has proven to be very successful in helping couples stay together and resolve their differences. Something like that. I mean, whoever came out with the 5 love languages, who invented that crap? But that's all I hear. Right? When a gal asks me what my love language is, I say, I don't believe in love. And then it just shuts it off. If you really have issues, I have nothing bad to say to you. I took pharmaceuticals for depression, so I understand. I don't think there's anything wrong with certain pharmaceuticals. It's when they say you got to go on anger management and you need to go and get it checked because you are over anxiety and you need help and you need to be on meds. And I think that is a huge, I just think, and men do it regardless if they need it or not because they want to pacify the woman. They want to maintain their relationship. They want to fix it. And if they got, by golly, if they got to go on meds, they got to do it. But should they or shouldn't they? That would be good for a doctor to prescribe that takes them through. But I think there's value in those folks that need it. But I think it's also prescribed wrong in certain cases. Because it's almost as though she wants him to be so calm that he couldn't even open his mouth because he's always sedated half the time, which turns him into another man while she can monkey branch. RP Phoenix, women cannot defeat the wall just as men cannot defeat female nature. It's a matter of time for both to show up. Well said. Well said. Men should trust their instinct. If he's by himself with no distraction, I don't think the words marriage counseling and couple therapist would ever appear. Think about that word, couples therapy, marriage counseling. Are those really optimistic words, James? Does that make you feel better about life? Hey, we're going to couples therapy because we don't know how to talk to one another because our brains are different. Now, I tried to believe it at one point. In fact, my ex told me to go on medication. She says, if you don't go on medication, it's over. Well, I think I took it for a week and then I quit taking it. Like it didn't work. But then again, I knew at that point my marriage was so screwed up. It was never going to come back or ever be fixed. The contempt was already placed in both of us. And once you hit contempt for each other, good luck. And and that's why you don't take your ex back. You cannot overcome the contemptness. You can only paint it only till that paint cracks off and it comes back raging. Us red pill men are already outsiders. A blue pill therapist cannot understand. 100% Saifu. Sick of these gals flaking, canceling date last minute, or advertising their OnlyFans and Instagram on a dating app. These days, it's utter crap, even trying to meet anyone. Apologies for my rant. That is the state of modern day dating. You are not alone. And you should purge and rant. That's basically waking up. Now, if you know the only way to date a gal is to go to her Instagram and OnlyFans account and to be led around like a little puppy dog, that's one path you don't want to go down. That's again putting someone on a pedestal. Why does she need to be on a pedestal? Because she's pretty? What does she bring to the table? Does she pay your bills? Does she stand behind you? Does she want to see you for you, or does she want another follower on her social media? Timmy, at the end of the day, women are mostly complainers and never happy, whereupon a man is happy in whatever he's doing. I'm barbecuing pork chops and veggies later. Ooh, that sounds good. 100%. We are content with a turkey sandwich and a Coors Light sitting around a campfire. Simple as that. We don't need anything. Why? Go around, look at the department stores. 90% of all of the products are geared towards women. Men need very little. 10%. We are not the consumers of society. Well said, Timmy. Women should be more like that Berlin Wall. Once it's down, it stays down. Well said, Matt. Chili Pepper, just in time couples therapy is a joke because it does not hold women accountable. Well, think about how, think about this. That therapist is making money, typically $100 to $200 an hour. She wants more therapy appointments. So again, she's dropping little hints. Well, listen, I'm going to give you guys a book to read. Come back next week. We're going to discuss it. Now, you need to focus on this. You need to control some of your outbursts. Think before you speak, talking to me, and then looks at her and says, and you just continue with your self-care, right? There's no accountability on her. It's all about me. Meds and psychotherapy cost thousands of dollars. Ain't that for real? Raph in the house. Hope you're well. Will you write a book on your ideas? Respect from the UK. My book would be Men Good, Women Bad. I don't know if you've seen that Saturday Night Live skit with Phil Hartman. Oh, it's funny. Maybe someday. Chili Pepper, if you want to know what couples therapy is like, just watch Kevin Samuels interview one of the many women. I have seen him. Every now and again, I get a kick out how he just keeps them in the carpet, and these gals just literally, they don't believe they're wrong. It's crazy. I think he is doing a service, and I think he's calling the attention out to them that, look, guys don't want you because of this. You are not a princess because you're 5'2" and 180 pounds, and you have 2 kids. And the delusion, I think he's basically unwrapping the delusion. And he's got a ton of followers now, so we'll see what happens with him. But who knows? Accountability is the key, right? I am so happy now that I'm a path alone. Even my waifu will not be a distraction, says Saifu. I'm happy for you. Absolutely. You're peaceful and happy. That's all that matters. Sack in the house. What is your opinion about Nofap and semen retention? Do you believe they sense when you retain? I think there's truth to it. Sure. I think it's good for you. I think anything that's, I think moderation in all things. I think that if you can control your flesh thinking, it basically puts more energy into your focus in life. So there's nothing wrong with semen retention or Nofap. I think women have 6 senses. I think they have a sense that they know when a man potentially has retained his semen, and because you're not fixated on them. One being one thing, and I think there's probably a biological, physiological connection between that as well. So if it makes you happy, go for it. Keep it going. Anyone paying attention to the Marilyn Manson situation, he's next after Harvey Weinstein. I did see that, Gare. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Teddy Boy Smith 2 from the UK. We got a couple from the UK. Good to have you. What part of the UK? My brother lived in Leeds for a while, and I guess that's pretty dreary up north. Divorced trucker. I encourage men and women to understand the term gaslighting before trying psychiatric medications. Well said. Very well said. Divorced trucker. Are you driving now? The truck still? And how is that going if you are? Peter Parker. Future is women working 60 hours a week to maintain their expensive lifestyle while we work 20 and have fun. Ain't that well said? Look at Timmy Kramer. He out doing his thing, working very little, enjoying life. We don't need much. That's why the van life at times is very appealing to me. Freedom, meeting people, turkey sandwiches, Coors Light, beaches. We don't need a lot, guys. Guarantee you sit in 200 square feet of your house or apartment. Batman. Beyond. Couple therapy is just another unnecessary bill. The marriage is over already at that point. 100%. 100%. FJT in the house. Good to have the FJT notorious. Saifu Blackfish. We're reaching out. FJT. The homie is in the house. Happy to see all the brothers in here and all the men that come together and the brotherhood is strong. We share with each other what we have gone through, what we can do to improve ourselves, what we've been through, and where we're going, right? Chili Pepper. My therapist did introduce me to gaslighting when my ex was doing it in front of me. Gaslighting is a real thing, man. You know, it's turning everything back on you. The delusion and everything is just out of control. And, you know, there are guys that do it too. Let's be real. There's a lot of douchebags out there. But the state of couples relationships is extremely difficult in today's landscape. It's as simple as that. The risks and the rewards, you have to know what you're getting into. Regarding Nofap, do you believe that porn can cause impotence? Some interesting science behind it. I do believe that. Yes. They have said that guys that have ED problems are watching tons of porn. They can't get it up because their brain is so wired for that visual screen action, and a real woman's next to them, they can't get it up. And one of the things that an ED doctor says is, ask them, are you watching pornography? And if you are, how much? And typically these guys that are watching it are watching so much that they literally cannot do that. So yes, porn is probably one of the causes of that. There's probably some physiological causes as you get older. Blood flow's different. If you're unhealthy, blood flow is pretty difficult getting down. But I think, yeah, I'm right about that. Porn is part of the problem with ED, especially in young boys. There's boys that are 20 years, 21 that have ED problems because they've been raised on porn for 10 years. They've been watching porn. So they have to literally go watch a YouTube called Your Brain on Porn. It takes all the morality out and focuses on the physical, what it does to your body. It's very, very interesting. It's done by a professor, University of Colorado, I think. It's very, very interesting. Removes all of the, moral compass piece and just focuses on what does it do physically to your brain, to your body, and everything. Your Brain on Porn. Everything a married man does in the dynamics of the marriage is to keep the sex dream possibility alive, even though it is super low quality. The hubby will move mountains for a crumb. Well said, Lou. Well said. Well said, brother. And that's probably the reality. It just goes down. We men like it. Let's be real. It does get kind of boring for men because we know what we're getting, but we do enjoy it. And I think for my wife, it got, it never was at the point ever in the beginning. It seemed like more of a chore most of the time. But you're absolutely right. Marcella's in the house all the way from Utah County. Just got back from the gym just in time for the live stream. Almost at my goal weight. Good for you. Keep it up. Work on yourself. Always enjoy your presence. Regional trucker. Would you tell young guys today that the trucking industry is an industry to get into, or would you steer them away from that? Curious. I'm hearing lots of trucking advertisements for jobs on the radio. So, and they say they pay 60, 70 grand. Now, for a young kid, 21, that might be good dough. But what's the reality? We got FJT Salute. We got Thomas Parker, Thopar. Hey, good to have you. I remember Thopar. You must have changed your name or something. But we remember Thopar. Even psychotherapists, douchebags can gaslight us men. Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%, Matt. I literally have zero attraction to meatbag women. They are all unappealing. My waifu will have a combination of beauty and silence. As I tell everyone, whatever brings peace and happiness doesn't hurt anyone. Simple as that. Sounds like your life's going very well, Saifu, after your divorce. Cyberzoni is in the house. We say hello to you. Dead Truther Walking. Saifu Black Irish. I recommend semen retention because it's helped me a lot with discipline. Some guys are delusional, thinking that retaining their spiritual seed will keep their women in check and faithful. I think FJT just hit it on the head. The discipline and the control that you have in Nofap will go miles, because the energy that you would exert entertaining yourself in pleasure is now focused on learning a language, building a business, putting your focus somewhere else to improve yourself. So discipline, absolutely, FJT. 100% agree with that. I got that way with my friends with benefit. I got more pleasure from intimacy than sex. Well said. Couple therapy is not about improving anything. It's about getting people to book as many sessions as possible. I would agree 100%. That is how they make money. They make money. The more money they make for people fighting. I mean, some of these couples are in therapy 6, 12, 18, 24 months every week or every other week. That's a lot of dough. You should have seen my bill. In fact, she would call us at different times and then charge us for a phone call. Well, how is she doing this week? Oh, if I would have known. It's just very difficult because, again, the man's brain and the woman's brain are completely different. And then the referee's brain could be an emotional brain, could be a logical brain, could be blue-pilled, you know, there could be an agenda. In fact, our therapist was divorced herself twice, giving marriage couples counseling to us. Twice. Peter Parker, I have the same problem. I often literally prefer to do it alone to porn rather than doing some Tinder chick. Well, I think there's safety in that. I think you're definitely safe in staying out of that potential risk. And, you know, I'm not going to tell you Nofap is good, Nofap is bad. I think there's pros and cons to both. I think if I had to literally swing it, Nofap would probably be the way I would go, just because later in life, you're just more able to focus. You're able to build yourself. We're past the sexual gratification because we've had it maybe in a marriage. We know what we're getting. But as a young kid, that's probably pretty difficult. And if you can do it, great discipline. Manoj Roy's in the house all the way from Mumbai, India. I inadvertently went Nofap for 2 weeks. It is a refreshing experience, and myself as well. Yeah, I mean, there's benefits. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, another thing that Nofap does, it takes your attention off who? The female counterpart. Takes your attention off seeking, chasing, wanting, and it puts it straight onto you. It's like fasting. So you're basically fasting sexually. The thing about this, when you intermittent fast, your digestive system rests. And all that energy, our digestive system requires the most energy. That's why eating all day long is not good for you, because your digestive system is constantly working. If you give it a day to rest, all that energy will go to other areas that need help. Your respiratory system, your central nervous system, you name it. And that's why your body heals, because all that energy now goes somewhere else. But well said, Saifu. I complimented my married female friend and looked me up and down and said, if I wasn't married, does this mean she wants to bang me? Okay, so she was looking you up and down and said, if I wasn't married, sure, yeah, I don't put it past her. Probably good looking guy. Married women bang their husband's best friends all the time. When my wife gets here, I'll have my hands all over her, but there will not be sex until we are married, an elaborate fantasy, but one I prefer. Well, you know, that whatever works for everybody. We're all on a journey, and we're all experiencing life differently for peace and happiness. Divorced trucker, I would recommend trucking to a single person who wants to stack cash. Agree. If you have a family and a wife, it doesn't work. Well, you could just sell a house and just drive for a year and a half and just live in the back of the cab with the refrigerator and just hang out and stack dough, right? Good for you. Teddy Boy Smith, I complimented my married friend, and she replied by looking me up and down. If I wasn't married with a glint in her, does she want to bang me? Did I just? Yeah, most likely. Lisa Smith in the house. Hey, how are you? Good to have you. Chime in. What do you think about couples therapy? What do you think about the man and the women always in a game and there's a referee being the therapist? I don't believe it works. I think the only way a therapist would help you is how you could, I don't even think that. I'm not even going to go that I just may go Nofap after my dog gets here. It'll make the honeymoon special. There you go. Women today have never been taught wife or homemaker skills. Men want a happy and thin woman to take care of the home and kids. Cell phones and social media have destroyed the family structure. Do not get married, says Timmy Kramer. The risks and rewards of marriage, I believe the risks outweigh the rewards. That's what I'm going to tell you. Guys that want to get married to have kids, I do not recommend it in today's world. I don't. James, I don't agree with Nofap. Men have needs, but it's good to take a break sometimes. Agree that screening a female is like looking for a particular needle in a needle stack, though. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking a break, But I agree we have needs. A lot of my friends are automatically DIF. What's DIF? Saw an article on an anti-feminist page about a gal who refused help off a male gym worker to help her lift the dumbbell. The dumbbell fell and hit her in the face because it was too heavy. She blamed him. Well, unfortunately, that she didn't take accountability, right? And so she had to assign blame somewhere else, which happens a lot. Rolly, my cousin went to therapy with his wife. They agreed to pay him in equal parts, but the therapist sent the bill to him. She said he had to pay everything because it was a gentleman, what gentlemen should do. Yeah, ours had said, who's going to pay the bill? I said, we're splitting it. And she split it. But she thought I was going to pay the bill because I was wanting to save it. A lot of my friends are automatically getting red pill from childhood as I was from their mother. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, a lot of women and grandmothers have told their grandsons to be careful of today's modern day woman. Satch A.B., no couple therapy, dump and replace. Yeah, if you get to the point where you're in couple therapy, it's over. I mean, I've said this over and over. It's because the contempt is already there. I think the only way pre-therapy would work, I don't even think the pre-therapy would work. I mean, the Catholics will spend 18 months in counseling with the priest so that they get married in the cathedral. Maybe that helps, but I just think if you're in therapy to begin something, during it or after, it just tells you where the carrot has fallen, that there is contempt, there's difficulty, that one person is going to leave the winner and one person's going to leave the loser. And it usually falls on the guy. A period of time in monk mode is beneficial to anyone. Try it and be impressed. I have. You get good benefits. You get more energy, you sleep better, your mind's clearer. There's massive amounts of value in taking a period of time. Victoria, once a couple go to marriage counseling, it's over. No successes that I know of. Everyone that has gone through therapy has been divorced that I know of. So, does it work? Does this multi-billion-dollar industry work? No. It might work for 1%. Let's give it a 5 to 10%. We're going to be very conservative. But the resentment that the loser feels will always be there. And the winner will always kind of hover over the loser in that relationship. And she'll pull out all the stops. See, I told you, what did the counselor say 18 months ago? You need to just keep reading that book. It's always going to be assigned back to the loser. The problems in the marriage, the problems in the relationship. Well said, Victoria. It's not funny. Just got off the road. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Lisa Smith, that lame line. That's what a gentleman would do. Needs to be redacted from our vocabulary. That wouldn't be a bad thing, Lisa. That wouldn't be a bad thing. Sound engineer all the way from the Eastern Bloc is in the house. Good to have you. I know it's late out there. Glad you always chime in. Always has great comments like the rest of you. On my experience, married women around 25 to 30 years old seek male attention because they don't get out to get the validation like when they were single. Don't fall for it. Well, I think there's attention and validation in marriage. Even talking to a girlfriend that they're married validates that maybe they got wifed up and it was good for them. There's a tension that comes from being a wife. There really is. I remember my sister, took her a long time to get married, and she'd say, I just want to be a wife. I just want to be a wife. I just want to be known as a wife. That was very important to her. So I think you're right about that. RP Phoenix, the only benefit I've ever heard about a man being married is having the chance to see his children grow in the same house he lives on a daily basis. I would agree. But now that's even getting scarcer, because we know what happens, right? Manoj Roy, I never knew why women look beautiful after getting ditched. I learned it the hard way. It was all about attention to pull the high-value simp, not to pull me. And women are beautiful. We love how women look. There's nothing wrong with a beautiful woman. Absolutely not. But there is an attention and validation piece as well. That is, they seek our validation and attention, as we seek theirs in certain ways. And that's why we shouldn't seek the attention or validation of anyone but ourselves. Marriage counseling is a money trap, says sound engineer. Well said. 100% belief. Leonardo DiCaprio. It's Andrew. I changed my name for protection. Good for you. Andrew, all the way from the pond. I was on Nofap on accident for like 6 days, and my sexual energy was flowing through my bones. Females feel that sexual energy. I would agree with that. Take a 2 to 4 week break and see what happens. I am gentleman. Modern women give me nasty looks. I don't think you're alone. And insults if I hold the door open for them. But if you take them out to dinner, they expect who to pay the bill. I've only had 2 gals offer to pay the bill, and I let them. But we're equal until the bill comes. Then it's the man's. And whenever it comes to money or doing something nice, it just depends on the woman. But there's a significant amount of them that don't like certain things done for them. We're in a very different age. Look up the word gentleman in the dictionary. Chivalry is another buzzword that reeks if man shaming. Yes, I would agree with that, Timmy. 100%. If I run for her, I straightaway go to jail, got to jail for such action. If you go towards her is what you're saying. Yeah. Well, it's happening all over the places. I know in England, you can't, was it England or France? You can't, hit on a girl in public or something like that. It's frowned upon. You get arrested for catcalling or giving them a whistle. Why would Ron Jeremy, the porn star, need to sexually assault women? I don't know about that. I thought that he's in jail. I mean, don't they know that he's a porn star? Whether he did it or didn't do it, I just think it's odd. But good comment. That's just, and maybe it's the state of the women that he was around. Maybe they want to cash in like, what happened to Harvey Weinstein. The most thing I hate is when women use that BS, I wasn't getting enough attention, and use that work excuse, David knocking at the door. Yep. Do they ever get enough attention? The majority. Men, do your own thing. Women love men that follow their own protocol. A woman is an asset, not an anchor. A man with options is attractive to women. A man on purpose is attractive to women. Women don't want men to be the center of their lives, and we all failed at that. Would you love to do a live stream on having females as friends? It's been a lot of trouble for me. That was going to be my topic tonight. Can men and women truly be friends? That'll be the next one. Chivalry is man-shaming. Chivalry of being a gentleman. Now think about this. Chivalry, it basically goes back to opening doors, putting the clothes, the coat on the woman, paying for the bill, protecting her from the rain with your umbrella you give to her. That also creates a pedestal as well, right? She's on the pedestal now. She knows you're going to do certain nice things. Now, 25 years ago, was that a good thing? I did that. I felt proud to do that, to be a man. But what did that give to me in the end? What did the things that I do, the things that I bought, the things that I try to be a good husband, what did it, in the end, what happened? There was no emotional bank account for her. And I think that's the issue. Now, do we treat him? I don't even know the answer anymore. The answer is the more you give, the less you get. And that could be intangibles and tangibles. I no longer have the need for validation from women. My standards are too high for modern women. There you go. You only need the validation from yourself. Well said. Trong is in the house. How was your day today? Did you have a nice productive day fixing those cars? Your shop? You know, I would love to have one of those lifts in my garage. I could just lift it up and do everything, but they're pretty expensive. So I'll just deal with that. I'll just do basic stuff. My daily dose of red pill for men is very important today. I would agree, Manoj. Take your red pills. I do. Let's see. My only female friend moved away this month. I will survive, thrive, and prosper without her. I've got a couple friends that are females. I know there's a dynamic to it that's different, but I also know they seek attention and validation from their male friends, and you have to know how to deal with it. I don't believe men and women can be friends. We always believe it'll work, but one will develop sexual tension over females. I would agree with that. And yep, I would agree with that. I've got a couple that are friends, and I know they've probably wanted more at certain times, and you'd be a great boy. No, we're just friends. But you're absolutely right, Peter Parker. I'm from Minnesota, but close enough. Before the military, I used to go downtown Minneapolis by myself and go to clubs for fun because I like to dance. I love downtown Minneapolis. It's great. Right across from Target downtown is a great restaurant. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, go by yourself, guys. Being by yourself is cathartic. It's healing. It's validating yourself that you can do it. Baby steps. Therapist is a woman. She's always on wife's side, usually blaming all the issues on the masculine and the husband, saying things like, try to be more feminine, you'll understand your wife better. Yeah, 100%. What daytime will the next live stream be? Maybe Sunday. I'll have to post something. I've had women get upset for opening a door in public for them. I don't think that's ever happened to me. I've had women get upset that I didn't open the door, but I haven't had that specific one happen to me. And it sounds like a couple of you guys have had. That's interesting. You did make a killing. What'd you do today? I know you probably farm out your trannies, right? Your transmissions. You send the blocks to the machine shop, but you probably did brakes. You're killing it with brakes. Those are the easiest things to do. You're killing it. 375 to 550 an axle, and you're on the East Coast. You're killing it. Good for you, brother. Stack those bills. Whether you put her on a pedestal or not doesn't mean anything to her. She'll just jump the boat as soon as she finds better high-value men. That's what we talk about. There's always a bigger and better option for the majority. Majority. I didn't say all. The majority of ladies. Just inherent in their nature. It goes back to the caveman days. Let's just say her caveman husband couldn't provide the meat that was needed to sustain them. Maybe he was lazy, so she looked for another provider that could bring twice the meat. It's just biology. It's all it is, guys. And you have to understand female nature. It's biology. Our biology is male nature. But if you let it control your life, you're going to be angry. You have to accept the fact that women have a different brain, and they think differently, and they love differently, and they seek differently. That's what we're talking about. We don't hate women. We understand women as we can understand ourselves. She wanted more, says Saifu. Yeah. Got lots of stories about that. Maybe we can talk about that the next live stream. I think that it's a bad idea to go to couples therapy, says Colin. For individuals, it can be useful, though, of course. I would agree with that. Individual therapy is a good thing. Now, if it's individual therapy about how you can get your ex back, I would not agree with doing that. Because, again, you're simping. You're putting her on a pedestal. The only person that needs to be on the pedestal is you. And if you're in a relationship, I say the relationship should be on the pedestal, which basically makes each person work hard. However, that's very difficult to attain. Again, you'd have better luck catching a spaceship on the corner of 7-Eleven tonight than fixing a relationship in couples therapy. Lisa Smith, a daily dose of red pill for women is a wonderful thing, but too many dumb girls won't accept the red pill as fact. We wish there was more women like Lisa and Victoria and Marcella and Suzanne out there. But there are women that understand this. The majority don't. Well said. We agree with Peter as well. I think there are a lot of divorces these days because people settle for people they don't really like out of desperation. Well, what have they always said? You were never her first choice. I would agree with that. And they get with people for desperate, or they're needy. If men and women truly could be friends, we'd see men be friends with 6-year-old women, but we somehow always pick the young hot things as friends. I think there's some truth to that, Peter Parker. Today, everyone comes in majority. Well said. Men only want to be friends with girls they are attracted to. Let's be honest. We have no interest in being friends with fat Brenda. Yeah, Teddy, I think you're right on that. The acquaintances, I'm going to change the word friend. The acquaintances that I know that are female are attractive. You're absolutely right. Streets of Ireland, married someone with borderline personality disorder, and she almost destroyed me mentally. I was at a breaking point. Currently separated and hopefully can divorce soon. I'm glad that you figured you could get out of that and make a better life. Sadly, that's a very sad state of not only women, but certain men that are narcissistic as well. And there's some douchebag dudes out there. But there's a lot of sick and mentally ill women that struggle from anxiety, validation, attention. I think without a father, that mental illnesses, it's sad. I read a study that women have more of a mental illness than men by a significant amount. I can't remember what the amount was. I think it's in Greg Adams' book, but you're absolutely right. Streets of Ireland. Tronglu, I don't do hard labor. I'll gravy work, $125 an hour, and I'm booked 2 weeks out. I have many options because of my employment. There you go, guys. Tronglu, living the life. Living the life. Stacking bills. Do the math. $125 an hour. He probably does the easiest stuff. He's got high impact wrenches, and he can get in and out quick. And he doesn't do hard labor anymore. Very well. Timmy Kramer, I was at Denver Airport for 2 hours last Sunday. I sat and watched overweight woman walk by me with tattoos and colored hair. And did you get any numbers? Did the soap work for you? When I see a gal with pink, purple, blue, green, a bull ring, it literally makes me want to puke. Like, seriously, disgusting. I had a close female friend in high school. I haven't had one since. We talked almost every day about anything. I caught feelings even though in the beginning I had no intentions. I was young and naive. Well, sure. Yeah, happens. One of you will catch feelings. Married someone who defends her family, coworkers, friends, and even people she barely knows against me. I felt like I was her enemy. It's funny you say that, Streets of Ireland. My ex-wife always sought the opinions of her family before the opinions of her husband, and even dealt with the kids. You know why it is? Greg Patterson in the house. Her ability to get a better man will be crushed when she gets close to the wall. Right there, that's solid gold. A woman that turns 50 and over, I think there's a mental wall that they deal with. They realize, oh my gosh, there is a decline. They pass that half-century mark. And when they're 48, 49, they're holding on to those 40s. They just don't want to subconsciously hit that 50 wall because for some reason they do become invisible. Well said, Greg. When a man falls ill, the woman turns small illnesses into big illnesses until the illness becomes terminal. I lost my uncle because of her wife. I don't think that's a mistake of what you said, Manoj. I think you're right. Do you have women older than you trying to get with you? I do. One's 51, one's 50. Girl I went to high school with, she's a year older, graduated with me. She's been texting me all year, wants to come out and see me. So, yeah. It happens. It'll happen to you. It's the time and money you waste on therapy. You really should be thinking about your way out and how you're going to start over. 100%. 100%. It's not funny. Would agree with you. Jedi Dark Force in the house. 32-year-old, no kids. My thirst for relationships, marriage, and cohab and having family is gone. It's just me and myself. Work on yourself. Stack bills. Listen to these old divorce guys with kids that are, that have been through the courts. You are in the best. Talk to Timmy about his life. He never got married. He's 50, early 50s. Good for you, Jedi Dark Force. RP Phoenix, women live in the present through emotions. How she felt or said yesterday doesn't count for today. There's an endless burden on us to keep them entertained and excited. The moment you get tired, the game is over. You're 100% right. Most women live in the moment. There is no such thing as emotional bank account. If there was, we'd all still be married or in relationships. Men have emotional bank accounts. We remember what we did. Again, we're creators. We like to fix. We like to move forward. We like to keep that intact. That is why most men try to fix their marriages, even though they're both in contempt of each other. But you're 100% right, RP Phoenix. I had a married female colleague who became a friend, used me for company and attention, dropped me when I was no longer useful to her. Yes, and I've also heard that gay men also have experienced that from women. The moment they get a boyfriend, they quit talking to the gay friend, even though the gay friend is not attracted to that woman. Interesting, isn't it? My wallet, my choice. Salute to you. Look at that good-looking motorcycle you're on. Mysterio! Where is cheaper groceries? I don't know. Good to have you. How was your day at work? I'm surprised they didn't call the police on you for being normal. It's just really sad, the world we live in today. 3 digits on a cell phone could destroy a man's life. Marcella N. A woman should communicate with her husband before she gossips to mom, sister, and friend. Oh, if you could send that memo, Marcella, to every woman, we'd have a better world. Mine would always ask her younger sister things about our kids and how to discipline them. Can you believe that? Not even the husband. That was one of our issues, a huge issue. Well said, Marcella. Dating older women is like robbing the deathbed. There's some beautiful women that are young. Would anybody go out with Jennifer Lopez or Gwen Stefani? And be honest. She keeps mentioning a male coworker every now and then. He is not her type, so nothing would happen. She gave me a ride to work and noticed the seat move, so I knew it's him. Oh, interesting, Streets of Ireland. There you go. You did some Columbo detective work. Mysterio, what pop star do you like? Duran Duran. I do not like Maroon 5. That's a grew up with Duran Duran. Rio, Save a Prayer. Good stuff, Mysterio. A friend of mine died of liver cancer. His wife left him for another when he was on his deathbed. That's reality. Guys, that's reality right there. It's unfortunate. It happens all the fucking time. But I still think about her almost every day. Sometimes I really wish I never met her because I have this deep connection with her. We are from different worlds. She is one of those rich girls. That was your friend that you had in high school you caught feelings for? Well, accept it. It's all right. You don't need to reject the way you felt. I mean, my girlfriend, when I was in a sophomore year, 1986, still reaches out to me. I'll talk to her. She's married with 2 kids. I mean, she'll send me a message or something. I'll say, hey, work on your marriage. She's miserable with the husband. He's a total simp. You know, she misses the nostalgia and the fantasy that we were back in the day, but I'm never getting with her. I mean, that was 35 years ago. People change. That was high school. The nature of man is to fix things no matter what is going on. That's all life. Solid gold, Mysterio. We like to fix, to create, to repair. to make better. That is why there's so many inventions. The man invented the microwave so the woman didn't have to slave over a hot stove. The man invented the stove so she didn't have to put firewood on a fire to keep it stoked all day. Right? The man invented the washing machine, and I think this might be funny. I think the man invented the washing machine and the dryer so she didn't have to bend over so much and hurt her back so that he could still get some tail out of the deal. Would you agree with me? So she just pull it out instead of bending over, lifting it up, putting it on the clothesline. She could just throw it in and heat it. This is an hour. It takes 45 minutes. She won't hurt her back, but guess what? It probably didn't even work. In business, you don't only stack bills, you also stack relationship with high value and popular men. Very well said. Be around men that raise you up, that are going or have gone to where you want to be. You are who you hang out with. You are who you hang out with. Remember that. You hang out with blue pill kids, guys, you're going to be blue pill. That's why it's difficult when people say, hey, how do I red pill my bro? You can't. It's only when they're ready. When something's going to happen to them. The fantasy is going to fall apart, the delusion. And some of these guys get blue pilled and they never learn. They get back into relationships, marriages. Got a friend getting married on Tuesday. 30-year marriage, and he's divorced 6 months. Now he's getting married. You can't fix stupid, guys. What hurts the most is when she is talking bad about you to friends and family after fights. That's par for the, that's just par for. You got to imagine what they're saying in the phone. Well, you could be with them and your girlfriend, wife, is texting her sister how much she hates you. I would not take J-Lo for LTR or STR. She strives for attention. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of her, but Gwen Stefani, I think she's kept herself very well good. But we don't know what's under the covers. What's the oldest you would date? Date or throw down with? 50. And the only reason, that's the oldest I would date. Now, I would lie down with. Would I do that when there's a 27, 29-year-old? No. But I have seen some attractive women in their 50s. Now, they're also full of Botox and fillers. But I'm not saying to date. I'm saying in and out. There are some that have taken very well care of themselves. Very rare, but they have. But I do not seek them. How about that? Sometimes I remember meeting a gal that's 51 and she looked like she was 35. I thought she was younger than me, but she was older. She took very well care of herself, but I don't seek that out. I typically like to hang out on my short-term relationships, 35 to 40. 40, I think 40's pushing it, and 10 to 15 years younger. Look no further than paternity court. See how much of a hellhole your life can be. Guys, you don't want to go to court. Done it. You don't want to be there. It's not a playground for men. It's a hellhole. Well, revenge in the house. Good to see you, brother. AI transformed from India. Good to see you too. The MGTOW called the Che Morpheus once said, the men are the creators of everything and we deserve respect. There's nothing wrong with that. We wouldn't be here without a woman. So we're not angry at women. We have mothers, we have sisters, we have neighbors, we've been married, we have exes, we might have daughters that are females. Remember, female daughters? Female, that sounds like an oxymoron. We have daughters. There is a role for women and there is a role for men, but you're 100% right. We like to fix and we deserve respect. We are creators. We are creators. RP, Phoenix, Gents in a Man's World. If you are not working on getting stronger, you are getting weaker. Every day you're not working on yourself, you're dying. Mentally, emotionally, or physically, or spiritually, or financially. So keep that in mind. The more you work on yourself and work out, exercise, enjoy life in nature. Guys, nature is great. Listening to the leaves, a waterfall, watching a squirrel run up a tree. That's what we did as boys. We loved exploring outside. We loved chasing animals and getting sticks, throwing rocks, just being out. That's what we did. Go back to where those fun feelings and your independence began. Remember that first time you got on your bicycle? Every time I get on my mountain bike, I still feel that. I was, 6.5 years old. My dad got me a Cycle Pro with yellow mag wheels. I still remember that day. He put me on it and he pushed me around for a half hour. I finally got it. And it was like freedom. That's where you got to be. That was all about you. That was about you learning, exploring life, being happy. That's where you go. That's what makes you stronger. Sitting around a computer, playing video games all day long, and not getting out is going to make you weak. Being friends with women never works. You'll always be disappointed. You catch feelings, keep it to a minimum. I have a friend from college. She's kept in touch with me. There's never been any sexual chemistry. She was with the guy that was a friend. Guess what? She caught feelings for him, and I told her. She lives in South Carolina by Batman, probably, or the homie. No, homie's in Virginia. And guess what? She got feelings. Shame on her, right? Her mother, family, and friends encouraged her to divorce before choosing a wife. Chose a good mother-in-law first because she is bad. Then you are. Yeah, if I had to do it all over again, I would have dated my mother-in-law, and that date would have lasted 1 second. Well said. You do not seek them. I do not seek them, but I've been bamboozled by a 51-year-old woman that was extremely attractive. I won't lie. Some of them can take care of themselves. Look, we like beauty. Black Earth. Good to see you, brother. We're all doing well. Better with you in the house. Our Andrew K. Reed is in the house. The dimmer switch was invented for when you got to go with a 50-year-old because nothing younger is on her. She's coming over. He coming over between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. Can't see the face. That's probably why they invented it. Good to have you in the house, Andrew. Black Earth, love having everybody here. Uber Mensch in the house as well. Wait, you've been in here for a while. Dimmer switches. That's funny. That's some funny shit right there. I gotta remember that. Men are like inventors. We keep our love for our mothers and sisters. Yes. And even those women are crazy too. I've got crazy sisters, but we love them. Flesh and blood. Pablo de Gregori Oficial. Great. Where is Pablo from? If I want to, let's see, Pablo de Gregori. That's a Italian. Spain, Italy, Portugal. Tell us where you're from. In business, you can easily make relationships with Elon Musk and get help by him in your business than having an opportunity with a woman. I get easily opportunity to mate such a man. Men help us, push us along, Manoj. Good for you. I remember one time I told her someone at work was trying to flirt with me and said, I am married. My wife, instead of appreciating me and being honest, said, I wish it was happening to me at work. Unfortunate streets of Ireland. Lisa Smith, women can never have built this world up the way men have. I would agree with that, but we couldn't have done it without women. And gender roles back in those days were respected. Women respected men that went to work and toiled in the fields, created things, built houses by their bare hands in the middle of the frontier. Worked their ass off and rode a horse for 40 miles to buy, sustenance for the families or trade grains for a farmer that had chickens. But we had roles, and the woman was respected by the man because she knew her place and the man knew his place. Unfortunately, modern civilization has allowed everybody to forget that. And now everything cooks our food. We're basically run by robots. I mean, a washer and a dryer is a robot. Just doesn't have a face on it yet. But you're absolutely right, Lisa. Thanks for chiming in on that. It is very common for women to spend from $1 to $3 grand a month on her hair, nails, makeup, clothes. Timmy, you go get your soap. It's $200 a month. And don't forget Sexual Panther, the cologne. I'm guaranteeing you it'll solve the world's problems. You're right. I was talking to this gal. She's an esthetician. And she says how much women spend on their, like, they've got all these micro peels. They've got radiation therapy that go, I mean, we're talking 8, 9, $3,000 just on their face. I mean, it'd be tough to be a woman. If you think about it, all of how they try to maintain the youth and how much it costs. Oh, it'd be tough. No, just be glad. All you need to do is buy a razor, and if you use deodorant, and just brush your teeth. That's all you need. Simple. We're lucky. I work with women of all ages, and generally the difference between 30 and 4-year-olds is massive. I can see the water. You're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%. Do you do your own bike repairs? I do most of it, except like if I need a new cassette, I just have them do it. I don't have the tool to do it. And, you know, my cassette lasts every 3 years. I just pay them $50 to do it. But typically, like my stands, I don't touch shocks. I won't repair shocks. There's just too much oils and pressure and all that crap. But for the most part, everything else, cables, brake pads, do that. I know that feeling. I have a mountain bike as well. Oh, you got a Giant. My boy's got a Giant. I ride a Santa Cruz. Can you guys tell that I ride Santa Cruz bicycles? Love them. Super Mario, but I love Donkey Kong. Exactly. Having a mom or sisters does not disqualify the critiquing of women. Sometimes even them portray some nasty. Yes, 100%, man. Absolutely. My sisters called me out. They're always critical, but I treat them like 5-year-olds. Rick Lou's in the house. Good to have you here, brother. What would you do if your child was transgender? Oh, geez. That'd be tough. I don't know. That would be a very difficult experience. Thank you, brother. Never thought of it that way. Date your mother-in-law first, 100%. Women have seen her and sped faster than Jesse Owens. Guys, you know how your wife's going to turn out? Let's just say you get married. Let's just say men and women come back to where they were 150 years ago. There's respect. Women know their place. Men know their place. The courts have all been abolished with this divorce court shit. We're back to where we were. If you're going to date, go date the mother, because that woman will turn into the mother. And she should date the man's dad, because typically we're going to be like our dads for the majority. I'm not saying all. My wife was never like her mother, and then she became her. Go figure. My friend got divorced from 25-year marriage. Is my choice, and monkey branch to another marriage. He already has 2 children in the new marriage. Not advisable. No, he did not get the memo, which means do not do it again. Do you think that the moms of the women we date should be vetted as well? Yes, I do. AR, what would you teach your future daughter? Jeez, if I could teach my daughter all over again. But it was difficult because my ex-wife babied her. If I could do it all over again, take away that. I tried to limit technology. I tried my damnedest. I said, when she first got her cell phone, you can't be addicted. You need to put it up at 9 o'clock. Well, guess what? I didn't have a co-party that would enforce that with me. So it's very good question. What would I do? Let me think about that. John Boston was walking and saw this busted Pillsbury biscuit can. It was so white. You can't tan with an African-American man. I felt like saying to the guy, man, you can get better. Isn't that interesting? He was probably very needy. There's only one reason a guy gets with a woman of that stature: neediness. Or I can't imagine the SEX is that great. Maybe I'm wrong. I wouldn't be seen doing that. No way. Jose. Good to have you, John. But maybe he was wearing the soap. Never know. Pablo is from Argentina. Che, Pablo. Buena Park. Soda Stereo, Gustavo Cerati, Ataque 77, Los Rodriguez. Good to have you. Los Gauchos, Al Norte. Been 15 years with my ex, 12 years putting up with the worst of female nature. We are done. I can't see my daughter. I'm sorry that you can't see her. You're not alone. A lot of men cannot see their kids. Trong, he's still listening. He has not seen his boys, but they will see him. And you have to be strong. And you write letters and you send them. And you write in your journal every night that you love her and you miss her. We men love our kids. I'm sorry you're going through that. You're going to be fine though. It might not be today. It might not be next year. But eventually, the love that you have will be shown. Do not get upset. Do not throw her mother under the bus. You be a strong man for your daughter. If I can give you any sort of advice, but I'm sad that you're going through it. It's great to have you. Worked in a hotel. There was few women who would come back every few weeks with different men and always asking us to have flowers, hearts, and chocolate to make it romantic when booking. Romance sells, Streets of Ireland. Teddy Boy Smith, what do you think of women with tattoos? I am not attracted to a woman with tattoos. I have unwrapped a woman that had a tattoo, but I was too far into it at the time that evening that I turned the light off, so I didn't see the tattoo. But I am not attracted to women with tattoos. I just must be conditioning. And today's women are encouraged by other women, mostly their mother, relatives, friends, to file for divorce and bamboozle the man. It's never been their father until he is a simp. 75% of all women contemplate divorce when one of their friends gets divorced. See you later, Matt. You're 100% right, Manoj. The busted Pillsbury biscuit can was carrying a purse with his balls in it. That's funny, Lisa. I don't think you're wrong either. Something was off with that dude. Or he didn't have to work and she paid his bills. If I get married, I'm getting a prenup. Well, be careful. Some of those don't hold up. Make it ironclad and get a great attorney that can make that happen. What's with this trend of women proposing to men? It's hilarious, but it proves something. Men are opting out. I would agree. Women are proposing. They're showing a side of them that's equal, but supposedly a lot of these proposals, the man's like saying no, or he'll say yes if it's in front of all these women. I don't understand why all these marriage proposals are in front of tons of people, like they video them now, and they come out and they start clapping. And that should be between the man and the woman. That's how ours was. We went to the beach. It was me and her, spent the night together. Nobody knew we were engaged till like 3 days later. But it's weird. Men that get proposed to by women is completely wrong. But it's happening because a lot of men are blue-pilled, simped out. Do you ever travel to Central Florida? Would like to buy you a beer and shake your hand. I'm supposed to go to Boca in the next couple months, but if I'm there, absolutely. Let's hang out. Matt left. He's always a good contributor. Supreme Cannon is in the house. The one time I went to couple therapy, at the end, my ex said, well, that was a waste of time. Because the therapist told her she needed to change some things too. Isn't that interesting? She had to change, and then she said she didn't like the therapist. Same thing to me. Was married to someone who can't admit being wrong. Even if she picked a fight, I'd apologize to make things normal again. Such a thing drained me mentally. You're not alone. Nothing better than coming home after my shift, not having to worry about pleasing someone or walking on eggshells. It's hard to live with women nowadays, especially those who watch reality TV shows. Very well said, Streets of Ireland. How many women cheat? Would you say 50% or more? At what age do they cheat the most? I think women are very susceptible of cheating, emotionally, physically, mentally. And it's probably more than 50%. When did they? I don't think there's an age. I think it happens regardless. They could be in their 40s. They could be in their 20s. It just happens all the time. And you should be cognizant of that if you're in a relationship. Remember, it might not be she she's not yours. It's just your turn. And that's how you have to live your life. If you go to get a prenup, says John, go to more than one attorney and don't skimp on legal fees. No, you're absolutely 100% right. You pay a bulldog attorney that is a reference, and make sure, and he better, if he charges you affordable rates, get rid of him. My attorney was the most expensive in probably the state of Utah. And you have to get a very good attorney, and only good attorneys charge the most. Remember that. Well said, John. Do married women use male friends for attention and validation? Yes. Or can a married woman generally care for male friends? I think it's attention and validation. I think there's very few that can do that. My son is 18. He's not interested in a relationship. I'm wondering if he is an incel. When I ask him how about girlfriends, he got angry. I don't know how to deal with it. I have two that are like similar like that. Just the boyfriend and girlfriend scenarios now, my wallet, my choice, they're so weird. These boys are dealing with women that don't like them because they're entitled princesses. It's really sad. So he's probably not an incel. The best thing you can do is teach him to understand relationships. It's nice to encourage your boy. But women today, 18-year-old girls today do not like 18-year-old boys. So they're, not when I grew up was a different story. I mean, I was 16 dating an 18-year-old, So just work on him being a man, getting him to where he needs to be, understanding life. Stacking bills, getting a career, working on himself, validating himself. Self-validation is what he should be learning at this age. But he's got desires too. His testosterone's bursting. We get it. Good question. We went to couples therapy. The ex said that the therapist was on my side. I said, you are not going to do anything they told you then. Ain't that the truth, John? My therapist told her she needed to forgive me, and then she never went back. She was held accountable by a woman therapist. Do you remember that pregnant transgender man on People? Yes. Claiming men can get pregnant too. That's not a man. That's a woman. That's a woman that has a crew cut and cut her boobs off. What is it? This is the delusion of media. If a man can have a woman, she is a woman. It is a woman. And they lived in Bend, Oregon, which is outside of where I lived. Ridiculous. If a man can have a woman, it is a woman. But it's how society is trying to infiltrate the mass consciousness of saying it's a man. Come on, guys. Men don't have babies. They can't carry babies. They can't get pregnant. They can only get a woman pregnant. Thanks to Oprah and all the other media outlets that push that narrative. Ridiculous. Miktowski is the guy who's going through chemo infusions. It is the reason I asked for his whereabouts. Oh. No. That is MGTOW is life. I was thinking it. MGTOW is life is going through chemo. Yeah. Women don't care about you. They care about what you do for them. Well said. Jacob is in the house. Good to have you here again. I feel like when you stop thinking about women and stop chasing, you have a better mindset. Your life gets clearer. When you seek the validation and attention of others, you do not put that on yourself. So you are in a fog. You are allowing someone to take your power. And that's what happens to men. We get bamboozled by the beauty and the charm, and we put them on a pedestal, which takes us off the pedestal, and we lose our self-identity because we're trying to make somebody happy. Put it back on yourself and watch your life change. You'll have a better mindset. Well said, AR. This men having babies is a feminist agenda, and thank your local Democrats. Yes, it is. What I find interesting, John, is women today that men become women that want to compete in women's sports. And what do they call it? The normal women are having a fit with that. Where are the feminists in all this? Where are the equality? Where are the LGBTQ that says a transgendered female used to be a male, should be able to compete in a woman's event. See, they're only equal till they're not. You're only equal till you're not, until the bill comes. Oh, interesting. It is pushed. Why are men most likely to become criminals growing up in a single mother household? Because there's no man to keep them on the straight and narrow. Now, there's some douchebag dads that have caused kids to go haywire. Most of those dads are either crazy that don't help build their boys up, or they're total blue-pilled simps, where the woman still raises the boy. But there's not a strong masculine presence in the house that tells that boy, you get out of line, your ass is grass. My dad did that all the time. My dad used to say, you don't get home. If you don't get home by 1:12 at night, your name's mud. And I believed him. Now, boys don't believe their dads today because of the narrative, the toxic masculinity of a man. So if you have kids or ever have a boy, it's going to be tough, because that woman has been raised in the narrative that the man's toxic, and anything he says to discipline him is considered abuse. But boys need to be wrangled in with routine and structure. That is how we learn the best. Why do you think the military is the way they are? And look at the military. The basic camp, boot camp, has turned into a shit show. Geez, when the guys I knew that were going in the military back in the 80s, they got their asses kicked. I don't even think they can swear anymore. They probably have safe spaces at boot camp. Guy can't climb the wall or jump over the hurdles. Now he's going to safe, he's in safety zone. It's crazy. Good question. Maybe women are proposing because it's another traditionally male arena they feel they should be taking charge of. I wouldn't doubt that either. But where is it going? The women that invent men's spaces, where is that leading society? My colleague at work was moaning to me about her husband's salary. She told me what he earns and said it's not very good. I would be pissed if I was him. I don't think he's the only one out there. Why do women think we live in the 1950s? We chase. We're called creepy. The whole narrative has changed, boys. The whole narrative has changed. Because everything's gone to the phone. Everything's changed. It's all a delusion. The modern day mating rituals is based on a phone. Think about it. Is based on an application that you take your thumb and move from left to right. Lord Spawn is in the house. Good to see you. Men are better at being women than women. Well said. Now the feminists don't like it. Well said. Men have become women and women are becoming men. Lisa Smith, Tom Likas has told single women, if you stop laying down with deadbeat men, there would be fewer deadbeat dads. Tom Likas is a prophet. So is Dr. Laura. There is gender roles specific to each other. And Tom Likas, if you read Likas 101, he says, don't get into long-term marriage or cohabitation until you're at least 25. That was back then. And I don't think that still holds up based on, and he talks about courts. He talks about paternity. He talks about alienation of kids. But I think we're so far gone. That was 20 years ago. But very well said, Lisa. Feminism was never about equality. They wanted to lead men instead of being a motivator. What we are getting from the feminists in Congress in second command of America. You were absolutely right. It'll be interesting to see what happens. The roles are reversed. That is a problem. Look what happened to Rome. One of the great saints of India predicted 7,000 years back that millennials are going to live their greatest life because he can quickly find information and realize the truth and make decisions. He wasn't wrong. 3 things that can make a woman a bad one: media, a bad mother, and a dad who spoils her. Well said. It's time to teach young girls to respect men and appreciate what they do for their families. I would agree. If you can make that happen. They are proposing to men because there's hordes of post-war leftovers, women who are getting older and need servants for themselves. That's probably a reason too, Jedi. They're desperate. They're scared. They fear. But most men, would you want to be proposed to? If a woman did that to me, I'd kick her to the curb. Well, that would never happen, though. We'd never let that go. I mean, maybe they propose after the second date. Kim Khan, bro, I have lost so many years of my life, my career, everything I had, and was fully ruined by the Canadian system corruption from police to government. I don't even know where to start. And death seems easier. That is a feeling we've had going through divorce. But remember, and I would agree, death would seem easier. I remember saying to myself, gosh, death has got to be easier than this divorce court. You couldn't even sleep. At least in death, you could sleep. But here's the deal. I've had friends take themselves out. I'm very adamant about this. When they do that, they're giving even more power to that person. Best thing you can do is watch these channels, literally, as much as possible. Come to these forums, connect with other strong men that have gone through this. We've gone through it, man. We know what it's like. We know what it's like with a person sitting in a robe on a stand that can take everything away. Why do you think men take themselves out? The hurt and rejection is unbearable. They literally believe the only way out is to sleep 6 feet underground for the rest of their lives. Now, we've had those feelings, and that is why Red Pill and these channels are saving men. I have had guys email me saying, your videos and other videos have literally saved him. He felt alone, not knowing where to go. And now he has a brotherhood of thousands of men that are supporting each other by taking our daily dose of Red Pill and understanding female nature. You are not alone. Ask Trong, ask John, ask Father Saunders. The only thing you can do is keep watching the videos. You can live in a car. Coach Greg Adams lived in a car for 6 months. He lost everything. He fought for 7 years. So that's what you do. You rely on us. You jump on our shoulders. We'll carry you through the way. Send me an email, rebelagainstdefeat@gmail.com, or give me a call. Let's talk. Women are motivators. Motivators to get on your ass, not let you relax and push you into being a workhorse. Well said, Johan Wilder. Good to have you. Well said. They motivate us to pull our wallets out and buy stupid things we don't need. We are living our best life because we know the truth about women. This is what has led to realization and to take action. Well said. We understand female nature and we navigate life by knowing female nature, so we grow as men. Well said, Manoj. Roy coming in with some good content. My friend got stuck in his country when Corona started, and his wife asked him to stay there and ask for divorce. You can never depend on them. You can only depend on yourself, guys. You cannot force a woman to love you or stay with you. Remember that. There is nothing you did yesterday or today that will make her stay with you. There's no amount of money. Look at Jeff Bezos. Look at Dr. Dre. That'll make a woman stay with you. There's no amount of physique and frame that'll make a woman stay with you or make her love you. It's female nature. And it appears at different times through life, different times through marriages, relationship. Be very vigilant. It's not funny. It's all hatred and envy. They pretty much telling men it's our turn to run shit. They don't want equal. It's going to be interesting to watch. It's not funny what happens in the future. Interesting. And possibly scary. Canada is now a shithole because of liberals, especially that goddamn prime minister you have, Trudeau. That guy's a simp. I bet he doesn't even have anything below the pants. I bet it's been cut off. He's probably neutered. You're right. Where were the feminists when there were roads to dig or mines to go down? They were nowhere to be seen. They turn up and want all the nice and easy jobs with holiday pay and pension. Did they build the skyscrapers in New York? Did they build the electrical lines that help us communicate? Did they build the inventions that make life easier? Just men are geared and biologically wired differently. What do you think of Jordan Peterson? He has some good content. I've listened to some of his content. I don't watch him a lot. I did watch his channel. He had a video on why women don't like nice guys, and I was 100% in agreement with him. I think his message is damning to a bunch of liberals and feminists. I saw him debate a transgendered professor on TV, and I think he's destroyed. He destroyed a feminist, which was extremely interesting to watch. And he did it in a way that was very intellectual. And he called her on the carpet, and she had no response. Jedi Dark Force, do you agree that modern women want to smash men like men used to smash women? I've noticed that any sign of male attention towards them is lost game. They just want to jump on you and riot. I think that's apparent in several different women today. Promiscuity is off the charts. They also know deep down subconsciously that most men aren't committing, and the only way a man's going to continue with them if they put out. And that is one of the reasons, and that is one of the side effects of feminism and men and the courts. Men don't want anything with women because there's nothing to build, because they'll take it away in court. So what do they want? Sex. And women know that a man's not going to go the distance anymore like he would have gone 30, 40 years ago and courted her for 6 months before he got a piece of tail. So you're right. My ex is hilarious. Everything I say about the understanding of female nature, she frames as lady hate and can understand why I just laughed at her. Yeah. A lot of women don't want to be told that, hey, our brains are different. They're emotional and not logical. We're logical and very little emotion. And that's just reality. It is what it is. We have male nature. They have female nature. Dr. Dre and Jeff Bezos are ready to help other men too. Well, I hope men really watch what's happening. Did you see Dr. Dre had almost a stroke? He was in the hospital from all the stress he was getting. And he has hundreds of millions of dollars to defend himself, and he was still stressed out, probably anxious and nervous and scared. That's what this woman could do. And he was in the hospital. Think about it, guys. Remember what Pitbull said, every day above ground is a good day. I would agree with that, Lisa. If you take yourself out, and men do, because of a woman, you just gave that woman eternal power over you forever. Build yourself up. Think about that. Very well said. What do you think of the pickup arts? I don't believe in it. Don't believe in anything. Nope. Please share me your email address. Yes, send them his stuff. Red Pill YouTube, my wallet, my choice. Rad, do you think that birth rate will decline in a way that government will be concerned about it? I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that. We're seeing a decline already. And it's not getting better. You get married again? Am I getting married again? Do young, they're saying young boys between the ages of 16 and 24 are virgins. A gigantic majority. Yeah, absolutely. It's going down. Female sexual liberation equals male sexual liberation, and women hate it. Well said. Matt from the 33 Secrets had a rough past himself. Never think you've reached your limit, guys. You can always come back. I agree. We can rise from the ashes. Right? We can rise from the ashes. If anyone's having issues and wants to chat, send me an email. And I'll give you my perspective. Anything to do to help another brother. Birth rate is already down something like 1.5 kid in the West. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Whose brains are bigger, men or women? I believe physically men's brains are bigger than women's brains physically. That is a fact. But there are some pinheads that are men. And there's some men that use their bottom brain over their upper brain. Jeff Bezos is a flake who wants special privileges. Elon Musk got the deal with NASA and he didn't. He's asking Congress to make special rules so he can have a contract too. It sounds like a little tug of war on the playground. Elon is the bully. Well, Elon was just probably smarter about it. I would agree with that statement, Lisa. Very well said. He's basically acting, he wants special treatment because he is the founder of Amazon. Well, I would change his name to Jeff Bezos. Have you seen Idiocracy? I have. We are a society heading in that direction. No joke. If we're not headed there, if we're not there yet, we're certainly very close. It's in the next exit. Yes. Idiocracy with Luke Wilson. Very well. First saw Rad last year when under 100 subs, now 3K. Congrats. Where do you see this going in 1 to 2 generations? It'll be someone, there will be another Rad. There will be another Coach Greg Adams. It'll live in infamy. But, I never thought about doing this to do anything. I did it more for me, just to talk to others, just to vent and process what I believe was going on. And I never expected, I just thought if I could get to 100 people that listen to me, I felt like I did something. And I think there's a 3,000 or so, which is interesting because that's a gigantic concert that are people listening to a guy that's bald, that's been divorced. But I learned from everybody. I learned from everyone in the chat. I learned from comments. I learned from other guys that create content, and it keeps me balanced as well. Just because Michael Jordan was one of the greatest players of all time, he still worked on his free throws every day. He said that was the most important part of the basketball game that he always practiced. Free throws. It didn't matter how consistent his muscle memory was. He constantly practiced. And that's what I think I do. And that what we should all be doing, listening from other brothers. We are so close, guys, to jumping on a plantation. Women are very smart. They're very charming. They're very beautiful. We can, and it takes everyday listening. It takes everyday remembering. We forget a lot. So thank you so much, Freedom Speculum. Good to have you. Even if the marriage of birth rates drop to nearly zero, the only government fear that they will express is it's men's fault. The only solution they will ever come up with is bachelor taxes, misandry. I don't think you're saying anything mistaken. They could come up with a bachelor tax. They could make us do something. Mandatory military service for all men under 75. You never know. I'm talking about them because I meet such people every day. It's only because of red pill, says Manoj. Very well said. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. There you go. It doesn't matter how much fame or money he had. Guess what happened, guys? He couldn't make her stay with him. He couldn't make her love her. She couldn't go the distance. Be vigilant. When is your next live stream? Hopefully Sunday. I'll probably post something. Women get accolades based on looks when they are young, but not in their older age. Men have to build up forever, but revered as they age. Well said. Well said, Mysterio. Daily dose of red pills is a must. Absolutely. And if you got to reach out to others, I know there's people on this chat and this forum that have connected as friends. There's people that are checking out FJT's channel, Batman's channel, MGTOW, his life channel, other channels. And it just keeps us remembering. My channel is not about hatred towards ladies. Well, I don't hate women. I understand that. I think women are beautiful. I'm attracted to beautiful, feminine women that know their place. I am not attractive to feminist, mouthy, masculine type women. That to me is disgusting. And liberal women. I can't stand. A liberal is a feminist. So you can knock out two with one stone, right? Liberal being feminist, feminist being liberal. And that's not attractive to me. Attractive woman is a feminine woman that knows her role, respects her man, and the man respects her by knowing that. It's as simple as that. Brandon 1 in the house. Bachelor tax is still cheaper. You might be right. You might be right. Sandman, I've listened to him. I haven't listened for a long time. Something about his voice. He's got good content, though. Stefan Kapp from Deutschland. Thank you. Deutschland. Have you seen the same thing over there with the German women? I know that Merkel, she's an interesting legislator, governor, president. But what do you see over there? Love to hear that. And if this chat shuts off, put in the comments. Mandatory military service, but my body, my choice, right? I wonder if it'll ever get to that point. And you need a safe space, even in war. War's going to have safe spaces for countries that are become completely liberal. 21st century feminism, Lisa. It hasn't done a body good. It hasn't done relationships good. It really hasn't. We've allowed people to quit relationships regardless. Before 1969, you had to prove you were unhappy. 87% marriage rate. Not saying they were a happy marriage, but 13% divorce rate. Now it's over 50%. I think it's 65, 70% divorce rate. And the other 30, 2% of that 30 is potentially happy, or they just learn to deal with each other. And 28% of that are miserable in an emotionally or sexless based marriage. So you're right. A smart man learns from his mistake. A wise man learns from the mistake of others. Laying it down at Chinatown. Feminism, submissive women with red hair, pink hair, blue hair, green hair, gauges, bull rings, bull this, tattoos on their face, tattoos on their neck, a swallow on their neck. Feminine women who obeys and is submissive. Feminine woman who knows her gender role and who respects her place in a relationship with a strong man. That's what they want. They want to be led. They don't want to be leaders. Gold diggers are shameless. Where do they stand as feminine or a feminist? Interesting question. Where do they stand? Is a feminist a gold digger? A feminist is a gold digger from the government and from what she takes from others through family courts. So there's probably some sort of gold diggers. I think a classic gold digger that you might be talking to, like an Anna Nicole Smith, I wouldn't call her a feminist. She has feminine qualities. That's why men will see they're beautiful and charm, but they're manipulative. Gaslighters. Rainbow hair is everywhere, Black Earth. Lisa Smith, no tattoos for this girl. Perfect. I think tattoos destroy women. Unfortunately, my daughter has several. And that's difficult because I know why she got them. And it's emotional and mental. It's also, peer pressure and everyone else is doing it bullshit. But good for you. Much more attractive than any woman with tattoo. Yes, it's all about money and providing. It is not different from American culture. Interesting. I have a grulch for me tonight. I got an insane thing for redheads. I think a lot of guys do. Do you and your ex have friends in common that hang out with you when you both... We do not have, Sierra, any more friends, Mysterio. My friends, I have a friend he's my friend and she's her friend, but I never talk to her. So here you go. Father Saunders, where you been? I haven't seen you for a while. I just saw a KS live stream. Kevin Samuels that panned to a man in his bed. Jeez Louise. You're talking Kevin Samuels, right? Good to have you. That's interesting. Does the delusion not surprise anybody? Maybe that man needs some soap. We know where to send him. He can get some soap. Hella. Now, hella is a term that people in Santa Cruz used to say when I was riding Santa Cruz skateboards by Derby Park. I would say hella cool, hella rad, hella awesome. It's funny. And that's where we are today, guys. The reality of trying to fix a relationship in a couples therapy is over. The moment you even call a therapist, it's over. Save yourself money, heartache, and frustration. Kevin Samuels, I'm great, and I hope you have been too. Good, man. I know your divorce is final, or was being close to being final. You're ready to move on, put it behind you. Happy for you. See, there's guys that can make it through. I was having few-hour walks in the park today. All the couples looked miserable, not even walking together like man, and far ahead of her, or she was with a kid a mile ahead, almost no couples among the young. Well, I think when you go out and you see folks out around, yeah, it's people watching. You see couples, they don't like each other. They just tolerate. I don't even know the word tolerate. They probably just, they're invisible to their partners. There's so many of them like that. Heavy metal. But I like rock and roll too. Stereo. I like tats myself. They're tasteful and hidden by clothes, so they aren't a cry for attention. I hate piercings though that are other than the earlobes and only one per ear. I love me some 3-inch hoop. There you go. Like a little bit more conservative of a look. One pierced earrings. Yeah. I think that's attractive too. Never fix a relationship. Let her just know the truth about them. Well said. Well said. This channel is all about understanding female nature. And it's all about understanding gender roles and what our roles are. And understanding that there's nothing you can do today, yesterday, or in the future to make a woman love you or stay with you. Even if you're married for 25 years. Even if you have 5 kids together. Even if you gave her a bone marrow transplant. You cannot make a woman love you or stay with you. And so if that's the case, put all of your energy on building you. Building you as a strong, masculine man that chases his purpose and chases excellence. Realization of truth. It is the older generation that are walking around holding hands. I would agree, Victoria, 100%. And they've also gone through the storm of divorce and marriage narrative that the world has pitched to them. But they made it. And that percentage is probably so low. I saw an old couple walking around. They must have been mid-80s. And they looked happy. But were they always happy? Probably not. But they looked happy. They looked like they won a marathon. They looked like they had spent 6-7 decades together and they made it. And they were still together. And they'll probably die 10 minutes apart of each other. But you're 100% right. People are spreading lies about Kevin Samuels. The guy does not stream from his bedroom. That was one of his Zoom guests. He doesn't stream from his bedroom. It looks like he streams in hotels or like a nice office or something. Interesting. He's got a huge follower. So that is where we stand, gentlemen. This has been a wonderful stream. Looks like Raul just jumped in. The pronouns, don't get me started on that. We'll see you guys Sunday. This is Rebel Against Defeat. Chase excellence, masculinity, men first. Thank you.